All right, I am at 910 Woodward, 43608 zip code. Recently vacated house. We still have like shreds of stuff all across the snow outside. Just hit the market about 5 minutes ago. We have some windows. It's really neat because the windows interior haven't been painted. You're kind of like half saved and half is a pain in the butt. As long as these windows are in good condition, and if I can find one that isn't quite so bright, I can get a little better example here so you can see how the window's in amazing condition. There's no bracing, there's no screwing needed. The windows should open and close smoothly. As long as the windows are in good condition, leave them as is for another decade. But as those windows start falling apart, that's where we start recommending upgrades. No problems with that. We have some skimming needed on the ceiling. Looks like some kind of a wallpaper product. It's got paperboard underneath it. So definitely ready for some basic loving. Walking from dining room, we have living room, dining room, moving into kitchen. The kitchen's actually really big. It's kind of like an addition that was made onto the home, but you have, some original cabinets. Again, as long as they're opening and closing, I'm fine. Looks like countertops. You're ready for new countertops. There's chipping all over here. It's not a big dollar item. The annoyance, by the way, if you make an L in your countertop, you can kind of double the cost. So anytime I'm designing a kitchen, I try to keep it linear. In this case, you're kind of committed to two sides. Another window here. This one's a metal Trek. I'm going to call this like a 1970s era double pane, thin, junk quality window pane. Again, as long as it's not broke, as long as it doesn't fall apart when we try to open it, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Moving us into the kitchen floor, totally is ready for an upgrade. Moving us into this back bedroom. This window, I've got a gut feel. Some of these, because there's like no glazing. That's just a sheet of glass. And I think the other glass here, if you look down here, the other glass is broken. So this window may be up for a replacement. You can see there have been like garbage bags put on it. So you may have a couple of those, but I suspect they're not overly expensive. Book yourself $1,000 a window. To trim the outside, if we don't trim the outside, it's more like $750. I hate these closet little mobile home accordion things. They gotta go. Put a proper door in there, but the bedroom is standard size. Moving us into, this is just back door, moving us into bathroom. Again, I don't have any problem. We've got a floor that's got to go, but I don't have any problem with this back bedroom. So you kind of have like a private bedroom for this rear back room. And then as you walk back into the middle of the house, you have the classic 2 bedrooms. You have bathroom in the middle, bedroom. We'll start in a bedroom. So this bedroom is totally normal size. You have somebody fell through the ceiling or the ceiling really needs some loving. Moving us, we're gonna skip the bathroom because it'll take me a second. We'll move into this front bedroom. Again, flooring is shot, it's done, but it has a closet, set up nicely. Just needs some loving. Here's an original window. This one's painted. We'll see how it functions, right? It does have a screen. Screen's ancient, but it does have a screen. It does have storms. So this one may be fine. Here's another window. This one's gonna be another toss-up. You're starting to get older. They're painted. They're not as good. So it's all catch as catch can. Again, you've got that weird like coating that here, you can see it there. See the paper? Like it's like a wallpaper. And then above that is another like layer of ceiling from 30 years ago. I don't think there's anything really to write home about. This cracking is interesting, but I just think the wall has had better days. I don't think there's anything really going on. There's no like spider. You get a stair step going down. That means we've got a structural problem, but I don't think so. And that's paint. That's no other more interesting liquid on the wall there. Okay, into bathroom. Don't know what's going on with the toilet here. I will ask if anybody's genuinely interested in the property. This sink is shot. We don't put like epoxy or caulk or whatever the hell that is, Bondo, on a ceramic sink. The sink is done. The tub is a cast iron tub. It doesn't have a surround. It's running like it's just horrible. I would remove this window if we're gonna do any work on windows. Remove this window. This needs a standard surround. We'd have to measure this, see if we can get 60 inches in here. You need a shower head, you need a valve, like all of that. You're gonna refloor at the same time, which needs to be done. And then we need a vent fan on the switch here and right now, because electric's totally on. So we have like the start of the wiring, but we need a vent fan to be taking this outside. So especially if we're going to be monkeying around in this other room in the ceiling, like you're kind of set up to be able to, duct out into the eaves. But that would upgrade this second bathroom amazingly. Again, you have a second bathroom that's unusual. Let's head down to the basement. We have just some basic unsupported conduit, nothing to write home about. We have just an odd setup here. This is the condensate pump for the heat to condense. Sorry. This was for the A coil for the water coming out. So we don't have water all over the floor right now because this furnace is not a high efficiency furnace. You are vented through metal right here, and then you're also old, like incredibly old and gross, but it actually still works. So maybe you get a year, maybe you get 5 years, or you can just replace and upgrade the thing. That would kind of be where I'm leaning to. I see we have a filter box. Where is the filter? I suspect you're running the ghetto version of open the bottom door with a wrench, right? And then slide this guy in there, and it just kind of sits across the blower motor. Ultimately, this guy needs to be replaced with a standard cold air return filter, and then this guy needs to be sealed. This is not supposed to be open so that Andrew can put his fingers into it, and that is the setup here. So old furnace, basement. I'm going to give this like an 8 out of 10 score. You've got, some moisture intrusion, efflorescence. It's not that big, effervescence, efflorescence, something like that. Anyway, not a big deal. The main beam that supports this house is lovely. Water heater, I'm not sure what's going on here, but this has been unthreaded or broken. These threads are broken. And then you've got an old one up here. Like that always is like, And then you have theft of copper water lines. And then you have a second chimney. You don't see that a lot. So there's another odd one for us to resolve. That second bathroom we're talking about, that comes down here and into the drain. You have one clean out, you have 2 clean outs. So that's unusual. Then you just kind of run into original plumbing. These are original water lines here, stolen. Remember, they were stealing copper, so you're gonna end up putting PEX in. And then here I can put a little bit of question mark to why that toilet flange is like popped up like it is. I think I would just get a hold of a real plumber and have him put this together. Not sure what it would cost. If it's only this little bit here, you might be great. I don't see any bulging. You'll find cracking and watermarks. This is oakum and lead. They put oak packing in the bottom and they pour molten lead on top. Honestly, it's a forever product as long as you never freeze it. So that part doesn't look bad. I would predict the plumber is gonna want to replace this little run here and then probably just get onto that or put it into this. Just into PVC so that it has proper, it's called a sweep that makes the 90 instead of like this hard thud, and then there's a bit of an angle here that potentially calls itself a metal sweep, but that all could get upgraded. That's it for the basement. I really don't mind the basement down here. Let's look at the breaker panel real fast. Up to code, this is a plug. While you're servicing the panel, you have an outlet. That's kind of a modern code standard. And then you're just doing your 100 amp. General Electric, nothing to really complain about. Breakers are kind of old, but I don't see anything that is rare and wonderful. 910 Woodward. 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. Definitely needs some loving, but the bones are just lovely. So we have painted siding. This needs to be vinyl siding. It needs soffit. Got a little bit of, we've got a satellite dish that needs to go. But just wanted to give you an idea of the exterior of the property. Really nothing worrisome, right? There's a very modest layout. So nothing on the house is really that big a deal. You have an adjacent lot. Don't know whether that sells with this house. it may, or it's available for purchase. These are typically $100 a lot. Again, you can fence the adjacent lot. But yeah, so same routine. You've got your, you're in need of some vinyl siding, especially if you have any hope of qualifying for Section 8, and especially if you're going to pass the City of Toledo lead ordinance. I don't know what the census tract and the deadline on this address is. And then you have windows here in the front. I've done pretty well removing those. Like those actually look like they're in lovely condition. But if we come into a situation where we do a unit turn and those windows are all screwed, we'll open that up and just make that look like the neighbor's porch. This guy's glassed. But you can see over here, you've got some more porches that have like an open profile to them. So you can get away from having to do all of the like glass replacement or anything if we ever needed to in the future. But that is 910 Woodward. Lovely 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. You don't see that a whole lot. And then all on one level other than the basement.